Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I have a card that features the January image from the Gerda Steiner Designs Progressive Challenge. With the Progressive Challenge, when you get the first image, you'll receive each successive image free for the months that you participate. So if you get January's image and you make a card and participate in the challenge, you'll get February's image free. When you participate in February, you get March, and so on and so forth. So if you participated last month, it's important to participate the next month so you can keep going with it. And if this is your first time, it's a great deal because you buy one image, but you can over time collect many images. And I really like that she does a lot of seasonal images, so for card makers it's an excellent value because you'll always have a brand new image to work with for the upcoming holidays. And for January she has a Valentine's image with this little puppy here and his heart balloon. I think that it can of course be used for Valentine's Day, but I'm just making mine a general love card so that if I choose not to send it on Valentine's Day, it will still work. And for the puppy, I'm coloring him with E37 and E35. I had thought about adding in a little E33 because he's such a large image, but I found that once I started coloring, I didn't need to go all the way down to that color. I was able to get the blend that I was looking for with just the two markers. And I added the dark areas where the parts of the puppy meet, like where his head meets his body and things like that, like I usually do. I'm trying to add a feeling of dimension and to this balloon here, and I'm coloring it purple. I'm going to be using purple all throughout the card because I have a specific person in mind and she likes a lot of purple, and I think that while it's difficult to find pattern papers in purple, when you get to add a lot of your own color, you can use it liberally. I'm using V09, V06, and V04 for the coloring, adding the darkest on each side and light in the middle so that it will look like the balloon has some dimension and is popping out at you. The lighter color will come to the forefront, and so you want to leave that highlight in the middle of the balloon. I wanted to pull in the purple on the sides of him as well, but I didn't want it to be too dark of a color because I knew that I would be using some purple pattern paper. So I'm using milled lavender distress ink, and I'm just blending it in from the sides. I don't go too close to the image in the center there, although with this light ink you really could, because even if you get a little bit of ink over the purple balloon, you wouldn't notice it because it's purple, or even the brown dog is so much darker than this light purple ink that you could feel free to pull the ink pretty close to the dog without having to worry about adding color to him. Once I have the image panel complete, which I had cut with the MFT stitched oval stackables, I'm going to move on to the rest of the card. You saw there that I have the Simon Says Stamp Heart Parade die, and I'm going to be cutting it out of two different pieces of purple cardstock. I added adhesive to the back of both pieces of purple cardstock so that I can have the sticky already there. The outside, the outline of the Heart Parade is really intricate and really small, and I thought that it would be quite difficult to glue it on later, so if I add the adhesive now, when I have that thin outline later, it will work really well and easily. Also, I'm going to take all of those center pieces and do an inlaid die cutting technique, and if they're already adhesive, that will save me time and effort. I wanted to pick some pattern paper to use as the background, and while many collections don't have much purple in them, I did remember that this Soleil paper from Basic Grey and Sassafras, it's produced by Basic Grey, but it was a collaboration with Sassafras, had some purple elements to it, and so I picked a pattern paper from there, and I cut it with the largest of the large stitched rectangle dies from Lawn Fawn, so it will be the entire card. I had thought about making it smaller like I usually do, but I found that the oval was a little bit too overwhelming then, and you wouldn't really get to see enough of the Heart Parade die that I want to do the inlaid die cutting with. I want to add a quick sentiment before I move on to the last step of the inlaid die cutting, and I decided to use this I Rough You from Lawn Fawn's Critters in the Dog Park, and I went to stamp it with some Passion Flower purple ink from Hero Art Shadow Inks. I recently got a small collection of shadow inks, and I really like the quality and how they stamp solidly, and so I'm going to be trying to do a little bit more colored stamping instead of my always go to black for sentiments. Once I have all of the other elements of the card finished, I'm going to add the Heart Parade inlaid die cutting. I wanted to make sure that this was my last step because it is a really large and expansive piece, and gluing it together does take some attention to detail and some patience. I found that the best thing to do is actually to lay down the inside pieces first and mold the outside hearts around it, because after I laid down these couple of inside hearts, I noticed that there was a little bit of a gap because I had laid down the outline without those in there, and so I wasn't able to butt it up against the inside hearts. And so in the end, I did kind of peel it up a little bit and make sure that they were touching. So you definitely have to have some patience for that Heart Parade die, but it creates a really nice effect, and I think that it's worth it. I decided to add some finishing touches with some Wink of Stella on the purple hearts and the balloon, and I will also be covering the balloon with some glossy accents to give it more of that plastic feel of an actual balloon. When I add my glossy accents, I am trying to be careful to avoid air bubbles, and they're pretty much inevitable in my experience. It might be that I should store mine upside down. Some people say that that works to prevent air bubbles. But if you do get some air bubbles, my solution and suggestion for that would be to simply take a needle and poke the air bubbles out. And then if that creates a little bit of unsmoothness, you can always just add a little bit of extra glossy accents in the area or the divot created by the air bubble. And so then I'll also add a little bit of glossy accents to his nose so that it is shiny. And as you can see, that's it for the card. There's going to be no background layers because that pattern paper is attached right to the card base. That's it for my card today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in some more crafty videos, you can subscribe to my channel. I'm going to leave a link below to the Gerda Steiner Designs Progressive Challenge so that you can join in with us. I'd love to see your creations, and I'll also leave links to other supplies that I've used. Thanks for watching.